ValleyRide says it's seeing a record number of people using their buses. In Nampa alone, ridership is up 22.3%. Ridership in Boise rose by 14.7%. ValleyRide says its new fixed location bus stop system is also bringing in new riders. Idaho is bucking the national trend that saw the number of people using public transit drop because of lower gas prices and unemployment.
When the gas prices first went up, I decided to try out alternate transportation. I really like it. It's relaxing. I don't have to worry about other drivers on the road. Everybody's pretty friendly. We've sang Christmas carols. We've sang songs about rain, you know. If somebody brings cookies, we try to get their cookies. You know?
New rider, I had a lot of misconceptions about riding the bus system here in Boise. I thought it would be cumbersome, inconvenient, inflexible, probably more spendy than I thought it would be, and I found out that those are all not true whatsoever. It's been terrific. Not only is it a cost-saving measure for my family, it's very convenient for my schedule. It offers me a lot of flexibility too. The trip to and from work probably takes 15 minutes, which is a huge time saver too, because as everyone knows, parking at Boise State is difficult at best. The bus drops me off, I can be in my office with coffee on within less than 10 minutes.
I made a New Year's resolution, I think it was about 3 years ago, to ride the bus as much as I could. And so for the past, I think, 3 years, I've been just trying to use it as much as I can. I just wanted to be able to support the bus system and to support our local businesses and come downtown, do more of my shopping downtown, and help clean up the air too.
I ride it because it's the only way I can get into work at Boise State because I'm blind, and so I depend on the transit system every day in order to do my job. From a commuting standpoint, it's really quite nice, and my commute on the bus here is actually shorter than my commute was in Denver, so I like it.
I like to ride the bus because it's free. It's entirely free for BSU students and staff, and it would be very expensive for me to drive all the way from Caldwell to Boise every day.
Right.
And without it, it would cost me a ton of money, and I'm a college student. I don't have any money.
Well, CTA Architects, where I work, they give every employee a bus pass, and so it was kind of a no-brainer to me. I've become the laughing stock of the crew, always chasing the bus down. We created a new Olympic event during the Olympics called Chasing the Bus.
We like to watch Eric run.
Yes. It's always fun to get on the bus to a roar of laughter.
So I took an access bus for 10 years. 10 years. Able to get to and from work. I mean, it was instrumental. I had to take it. I had no choice. And then the fixed route became accessible. So thank goodness the bus just happened to come right in front of my house. So I would just go right outside my front door, get the bus, come downtown, because I work downtown, so I didn't have to transfer anything. Plus, it was half the cost.
What I enjoy about it is not only that I get downtown in a very reasonable amount of time, and it's comparable to driving. I get off the bus relaxed, we have a wonderful time, we have a good group of regulars on the bus, and plus it's good for my exercise because it's about a 10-minute walk both from my home to the bus stop and from my bus stop to my workplace, and it's just been very beneficial. The inversions, they continue in this valley, and certainly a significant part of that is coming from automobiles. And so I think we just have to all do our part, not only in terms of the quality of our air, but this also reduces our carbon footprint, our need for foreign oil. And so those were all things that you take into consideration as far as public transportation.
We have seen, I think, an increase of ridership attributed partly because people now know where to go to catch a bus. We see people waiting at those bus stops. We know that the inter-county route has jumped up dramatically. I think initially spurred by the dramatic increase of gas prices here a year and a half or 2 years ago. But the amazing thing is that we have not seen ridership decline even after the prices came back down to where they are today. People learned that it's a pretty nice way to go to work. You can sit there and read a newspaper or get a little extra nap on your way into work, and they've discovered that that's not all bad. They got out of their cars and they still survived. And so we're seeing those routes going from Nampa into Boise in the morning still just packed. We could use more capacity on those lines.
All for mass transportation. I think that's the way it needs to go, and in the future in the Treasure Valley, to catch up with some of these other metropolitan areas. So I wanted to do it, for a lot of reasons, economical and environmental. So I did do it, and there are some good things about it. For me, there just wasn't enough compelling reasons as the way the transportation system stands right now that it made sense for me. So the problem was that there's just such a lag time, especially on the afternoon routes, evening routes, that it would add, not just make my it would add 3 hours to my commute. So I was never seeing my family, and it just, the quality of life was going down because of that. So there wasn't a bus that would show up right when I got off work, so I have to wait here for 40 minutes for a bus. Then I have to wait at the mall for another 25 minutes on a good day to catch another bus. So that's another hour of just sitting there, and then of course the normal bus times after that. So, but if you could shave an hour off that, I would be back on in a heartbeat.
I think the other really great improvement that we could make that maybe wouldn't take all that much money would be to extend ValleyRide service hours on Friday and Saturday nights. Right now the buses stop running at about 6 o'clock at night, so people could come downtown, they could have, they could go to a concert, they could just go to a few bars, they could do some shopping, they could do First Thursday, they could do Alive After 5, all those sorts of great things that downtown Boise has to offer. But right now you can't take the bus downtown and you won't be able to get back because there are no buses after 6. So if we could just extend the bus service on Friday and Saturday night to maybe 11 o'clock, I think that would be great. It would be great for ridership. It would be great for downtown Boise.
Public transportation, because that's a lifelong issue with blind and visually impaired people, that most of them are never going to be able to drive. So they need to have good access and really be familiar with public transportation and how to use it. A blind person needs to be as independent as anyone else to the extent possible. And so it's really to their benefit and to the benefit of the whole community that fixed route be available to them. And our primary thing is we need more buses and we need more frequent service. And this isn't news to anybody, but it costs a lot. And with the economic downturn, I think it's a problem in that way.
We don't have the funding. We currently fund ourselves with local contributions, voluntary contributions from the communities that get the limited services we have. And in order to grow the system to be an effective, viable regional transit system, we have to get additional funds.
We have gradually bumped up the city funding to where today we're using more than $300,000 of general fund money to fund and support the bus system here in Nampa. That's a significant amount of money from what it was 14 years ago. The disappointment is in the fact that we cannot expand them without significantly adding to the property tax burden of everybody in the city, and we just can't do that. And so it's very frustrating to have people say, yeah, we'd use the buses if they were more frequent, if they went more places, but we can't do that because we don't have the funds.
I think we need to figure out a way to get some operating dollars, whether it's local option tax or whatever it might be, and I think that's probably one of the best alternatives we have available is if we can get the ability for the citizens to vote on local option as to how to improve the system for now and then for the future.
One of the most important things that we can provide for the future of transportation in our valley is some sort of fixed funding stream, either to whether a local option tax or whatever. And as we grow in population, we need it. And eventually, the consumer is going to demand it. And also businesses. You know, at some point in time, you know, someone comes to town, they have to know that not only do you have a good educational structure and a workforce, but you got to be able to get that workforce down the road and get them to work on time.
We need to continue to look at different ways to fund. That includes continued efforts at local option tax. And my argument for local option tax is let the people decide if they want to implement an additional small amount on their sales tax to broaden the public transit service that we have in the valley. We need to continue to fight for that.